Okay, here's some pickups I got. This was on a Friday. Just hitting some garage sales, and then I also hit a pawn shop that I hadn't been to in a little while. I'll start with a big one, the Retro Duo. This looks to be one of the newer ones, the version 3. So I wasn't sure, but I picked it up. They had listed at 20, and I talked them down to 15. So it is complete. It looks like it wasn't really used. It's open, but everything's in there still in the little baggies. Below you can see Stuart Little 2 on the PS2, and that's $1.50 on there. That one's kind of just a disappointment pickup. I mean, of course, it's nice to add to the PlayStation collection, but it was like kind of like a they had like kind of a mini shop in their barn, and I saw that on the shelf, so I picked it up. But the disc wasn't there. They had like a note that was in a sleeve, and I saw a whole bunch of other games in the sleeve, and I was like, "Oh, do you have those games?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, actually, in our garage we have a bucket of games." They have hidden games. You think, "Oh, something good got to be in there," but it was mostly just sports games and maybe like a Call of Duty or something. So kind of disappointing, but I picked up the Stuart Little, just $1.50, might as well to add it to the collection. The pawn shop I went to on the right, they were doing like they said 3 for 10, and I asked them if they would do 4 for 10 when I picked out some PS3 games. Nothing crazy there. God of War Ascension's good pickup, and maybe Dragon Age as well. I didn't notice until later, but actually the Dragon Age has a Killzone 2 manual in it, so not complete unfortunately, but oh well. Growing that PS3 collection, not really trying to grab too much for it, but anything that looks interesting, it's cheap, I'll do it. PS3 is cheap right now, so I can't not pick it up because I may want to collect PS3 at one point. So I'm not gonna pass up a $2 or $3 game. Okay, so real quick, this is a garage sale pickup. This one was posted online. They said they have original Wii, so I went and checked it out. It was good pickup because they had 30 on it, as you can see, but I ended up paying 20 off for 20 on it. Nice Wii. There's 12 games over there that I'll go through in a second. 2 Wiimotes, 2 nunchucks down here, all the cables, and it has that Nyko charging stand, and it actually has the batteries as well here. So I was happy about that. And actually, interestingly enough, they still have the original backs too. Very surprising, you know. You don't expect to see the original backs as well. Um, and there's the manual in there as well. The Wii's pretty dirty, but I won't grab it out. It's just a regular white Wii with the GameCube ports. But I'll test it out, make sure it works, of course. But mostly, I bought it. That $20 is good for a Wii with controllers, obviously, but I bought it mostly for the game. So here's those 12 games from that Wii $20 bundle. It did also come with a Wii Fit board and a PS2 GameCube dance pad from GameStop. So most of these are complete. Some filler, but some decent titles. Just Dance 2, Star Wars Force Unleashed, Wii Play, Wii Fit Plus, of course, MX vs. ATV, Mountain Sports, My Fitness Coach 2, and 007 Quantum of Solace. The good ones here, this I Spy game pack is actually sealed, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Um, it looks to be a legit seal. I'm not an expert, but of course the best one, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And when they had it at 30, I was kind of iffy about it, but when I saw Brawl, I was like, well, I'm just gonna offer 20 because this is definitely worth it. It's a pretty good copy, a little dirty on the cover, but I didn't have a full copy, so I'm happy to get that. And also, this was in the box. I didn't even notice until I picked it up. But Mario Party 7. The disc is very scratched on this one, so I don't know if it'll work. I'm gonna test it, and I don't know. Mario Party 7 is so worth it. I might get it resurfaced, just because it's like I think the GameCube Mario Parties are definitely going for a good rate. And it came with a Wii Sports. This one's really ripped up on the case here, and actually when I opened it up, it did the thing where it was so stuck together that it ripped on the manual. But the disc is okay. When I went to the sale, I got there like 5-10 minutes after it started, and I kind of beeline straight for the Wii. But once I picked it up and I was leaving, I did actually see a guy I recognized who sells at one of the local flea markets. So there's definitely competition out there. He mostly sells like records, but he does have some games. Pretty high prices, unfortunately. Though I have picked up a few from him before. Garage sale this weekend, and look at this. Look at this beautiful pickup.
I'll show more of this, but oh my god, $50 for all this. Look at all those beautiful box games. They're a very nice old couple, but I offered 50 and they took it, so definitely doesn't hurt to ask because you get stuff like this, and that's amazing. I don't have any box games, so that's a new one for me.
Okay, so last part of May, some pickups. I went to some garage sales. Pretty amazing. This is probably the best garage sale pickups I've had, without a doubt. Just because I was finding stuff at like every other sale I went to, I was finding stuff, and I got some really amazing stuff as you can see. So I'll just start going through it. This sale I went to, I had it marked to go to just because they said they had electronics, but I did not expect to see this. I saw this shoebox full of NES games and a bunch of boxes. Pretty amazing. When I got up there was a guy looking through them, and my heart dropped. Like, oh my God, am I getting here just as someone's gonna buy all of it? And the person asked about the prices, and they had it really high. They wanted $20 for each game that was in a box, and then 15 for each game that was not in a box. Um, and I'll go through them, but this left side is all the games that had boxes, and then the right side here is all the games that did not have a box. So the guy, kind of passed at that point, and I kind of looked through them and checked some of the boxes and looked at some of the titles, and they had a GameCube as well that I passed on that was like 35. I asked them about the price, kind of confirming, oh yeah, so it is individual. And then I asked the it was a nice old couple. I asked the lady there, and she said, well, we might be able to do better. Let me ask my husband. And he came walking back towards me, and he was like, oh, why don't you make me an offer? You'll see here. It's pretty amazing what I got here, considering what they're asking. But he settled on 50, um, which is great. I think he just wanted to get rid of it. He had priced it probably online, but he just wanted to get rid of it. So this is great for me too, because I don't have any boxes. So this is the first time I'll have some actual boxed NES games, which is pretty amazing for me as a young collector, I guess you'd say, because I haven't been collecting for more than a year. So that's enough of the backstory. Let's get to the games here. So these ones on the right do have the manuals in them. So we have a Stealth, ATF. And the boxes are in pretty good condition. They're definitely dirty, but they're all in all in pretty good condition. They're not overly smushed or broken that you'd expect. Off-road, which is Ivan Stewart's off-road, and I have the games here as well. There's off-road, and Stealth was the only one with a sleeve. I actually already have Stealth, but I'll compare it, and of course, having the box is amazing. Double Dribble, that's pretty cool. Like I said, a lot of these are sports, but you know, especially for what I ended up getting them for, it's fine with me. I'll pay a little over 3 a piece for them. I think there's 16 games total. Goal. Okay. These ones on the left don't have the manuals, unfortunately, but still good to have. Ice hockey. Another game I did already have. Wheel of Fortune. Galaga, Demons of Death. I'd never seen the actual cover art of that. That's pretty amazing. Um, it's a very strange little conversation on the back. It's only a video game. Um, but this one does have some tape on it. I don't know if I'll try to get that off. I'm kind of afraid of ripping the box. But Bases Loaded 3. I'll have to look this up because I feel like I've heard people talk about, at least on the NES, one of the Bases Loaded is a rare game. Like, probably the best of the bunch, I'd say, at least, is Sky Shark. Taito game. Happy to get that. Pretty cool box there. And you can see the games here for that were in there. The Sky Shark's a little dirty on top, but pretty good. But the rest of them are in really good condition, just a little dirty. But I think it's CJR that says dirty is good because people might pass up something that's dirty. So the games that did not have cases were a copy of Legend of Zelda, pretty beat up. You know, it's kind of a bummer. I do already have Legend of Zelda, the first one, but um, still good to have. Spy Hunter. I do also have Spy Hunter. Gotcha. Zapper game. I did have this, but I have a really beat up copy that I got for like $1, I think. um, yeah, I think it was like $1, maybe $2. But nice to replace that. Rad Racer. One of the better ones too is Mike Tyson's Punch Out. So happy to get that. Really good condition. Sad there's no box, but it's all right. Tecmo Bowl. Pretty cool. And the last one here is a copy of Slalom. Black Label. Black Label NES game, I guess. I always kind of debate sports games because, you know, I don't want to collect sports games for every system just because I'm not that interested. But NES, at least, it's maybe a little more interesting just to see them. And of course, there's, you know, stuff like ice hockey that's actually pretty fun since it's not an NHL 2000 blah blah blah. Yeah, $50. So I was really happy to get some boxes finally, and I got some good titles. I'm adding a lot to my collection.
Okay. So just doing a quick video. I mean, the Ask, man. The Ask works. Look at this. And nothing crazy here, but I got Pac-Man 2 The Adventures, the new Avengers, and, you know, some random titles. Pool, Bulls vs. Blazers, and a nice copy of Super Mario World. And only $5 for 4 games. So, pretty good. Liking it.
Here's the pickup here from some garage sales, and 2 are from a pawn shop. Just some smaller pickups, some cool SNES pickups, so I'm glad to get those. I'll start with the left here. 4 games there. You can see the Pac-Man 2 New Adventures. When they brought it out with the box, I was actually kind of excited because I just picked up a bunch of NES boxes, never had NES boxes, and now it's my first SNES box. You know, not the best box. It is a little beat up, as you can see. But it does have the manual inside, and of course the game's down there too. There's also Championship Pool, Bulls vs. Blazers, and Super Mario World. Of course, the best one out of the bunch. All in nice condition. But yeah, this was on an ask, so you know I just bought everything, and I know Super Mario World is easily worth that if the others aren't. But the Pac-Man Pool I'll probably put in my collection. It was nice to see some SNES games in the Ask. You know, they didn't have any games out. You know, I've just been getting some amazing stuff like that this time. This is easily the best garage sale weekend I've ever had. These are just some random pickups. Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, 75 cents. Picked it up. Why not? I am going for full PlayStation collection, so happy to add that. These 2 are from a pawn shop I went to just on a kind of a whim. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate for $5, and Fallout New Vegas. I also paid $5 for that. This next deal was another ask. So I paid $6 for 4 games here. GoldenEye Reloaded, PS4, cool. Crisis 2 Limited Edition. This one's pretty faded actually, but Medal of Honor Warfighter, and Heavy Rain. Jason! Here we're actually they're actually part of another garage sale, I think, but they're just 25 cents a piece for books, and they had 2 strategy guides here, so I picked them up. Perfect Dark and Final Fantasy X here. So yeah, great garage sale weekend. I'll definitely be trying to do more. There's some flea markets coming up next month. I want to go to some like open air flea markets, and I had good luck on that the last time I went out. So I'm gonna do that. But flea markets or garage sales might be something I try to hit. As long as I'm asking about games, people tend to bring them out, and I'm getting some good stuff.
Okay, this probably going to be my best garage sale outing ever. I haven't gone out much, so still, this is amazing. I got that NES pickup you saw, and then here, super cheap, 25 cents for FF10 Perfect Dark Strategy Guide. I got this Nightmare Before Christmas, $1. And then I also got this Xbox 360 controller and remote, Has the battery pack in it. Dollar. 10-cent DS game. Why not? This is kind of cool. Looks like it's from a collector set. Art Grand Theft Auto 4. 25 cents. Has the soundtrack. And then see in there for. Let me try to get. Yeah, you can kind of see in there. I'll show it later, of course. But 5 awesome Xbox One games, $2 a piece. Amazing.
So here's the pickup that I had. These are from 2 garage sales actually. The first pickup here on the left, everything was $20. Started getting into the habit of asking people, do you have games? They didn't have anything out. Asking for games turned into some games, and then turned into more things after that. So I asked for games, and they said, well, I have a Wii inside that we're not really playing anymore. So I said, oh, well, can I take a look at it? They brought it out. It was a white Wii in the box, with like 1 controller, and like 2 Wii wheels. I took a look at it, and I asked them, well, what are you thinking on it? And they said 50. So that was pretty high for just a regular Wii. It had like 2 other games. It had like Wii Fit and something else in it. But I did end up picking 2 games out from it. I asked them, could I just buy the games? And of course, I saw Mario Kart Wii, so I picked that up. And then it was a Wario Land Shake It, both complete. And I said, what do you want for just 2 games out of it? And she said 5. So of course, I took that. 250 a piece is great for those 2. They just really valued the Wii itself, but the games they didn't value too much, which is fine with me because I have a Wii, and I just wanted the games. He also mentioned, I think it was the husband who said, oh, I think also we have an N64, but we don't have the power cable for it. And even before they brought it out, she was like, oh, well, I could just do 10 on that. We don't have any games for it. And I was like, oh, that's fine. When the guy went to go grab the N64 from the garage, he also said, oh, I actually found a GameCube back here too. Would you be interested in that? And I was like, oh, well, yeah, how about $5 for the GameCube? And they said, yeah. So no cables, of course, but had a controller, um, and the GameCube itself. It definitely goes to show that asking helps, because it was going to be a place that had 0 games, and it turned into 2 good Wii pickups, and then an N64, and then a GameCube on top of that. So $20 for all that. Um, Pretty good. I'll have to, of course, test the N64 and the GameCube, see if they work. Okay, so the next deal on the right here, it was a sale where they had a lot of people and they were trying to get rid of stuff quick. I think they said as much, but there was definitely some great deals. The first thing I saw actually was this art of Grand Theft Auto. It had the music CD in it, and 25 cents on the front, so I figured why not. That was kind of random, now that I think about it, that it was just there. I assume it came with a collector set, but for 25 cents, sure, I'll pick that up for just having in the collection. There's a bin that had 10 cents on it, so I grabbed the deal or no deal for 10 cents. Why not? Baggie with a Xbox 360 controller. Um, and showing how much I know. I thought these had battery packs in them, but I guess they don't. I think maybe they make battery packs, and then the rest of the time it's just batteries. I don't own an Xbox 360, but I picked these up. It came with had a remote as well. It was $1, so I figure there's got to be some trade in on that for $1. And I don't know, maybe I'll get an Xbox 360. Speaking of which, I don't have an Xbox One either, but their Xbox One games were $2 a piece, so I picked those up. Battlefield 1, Rare Replay, which is very cool. I might hold on to that, because that's really cool to have the Rare Replay. $2 no less. Gears of War 4, Titanfall 2. Like, there's just amazing titles sitting there. Resident Evil 7. I mean, what can I do? There's just amazing titles sitting there for $2 a piece. I don't own an Xbox One, but I will pick them up anyway, because that's an amazing deal. And this was just a trend of, like, I'd go to one garage sale, or 1 or 2 garage sales. It'd be nothing. I would ask, and they would say, no, we don't have anything like that. And then I'd go to one. Oh, look, there's a thing of NES games. Or, oh, look, there's someone who brings out a Wii and then a bunch of other Nintendo consoles. Or, oh, here's someone who just has some random Grand Theft Auto stuff and a bunch of cheap Xbox games. I know it's just funny how garage selling can be sometimes, but they're definitely asking helps. Okay, so I had a few more garage sales on the weekend. It's kind of a long weekend, so I went to a few more. This sale advertised lots of games. I went to it, and this was actually all they had. They weren't looking for too much, so I talked them down to 10 for all the games here. I'm kind of getting to a point where I'm wondering about buying. Even at a dollar game, sometimes games aren't worth it, even for like the trade-in and that. So, I'm gonna kind of see how it goes. There were some good titles in here though, so I think I did pretty well. If it was all sports games, I would definitely not take it. The copy up there without anything is Battlefield 3, Call of Duty 4, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, Bakugan, Homefront, Connect Sports, Saints Row the Third, NBA '09 The Inside, Resident Evil 6, ATV Off-Road Fury 2, which I'm going to go ahead and keep for my collection, um, since it is kind of a racing game, but we'll see. And then there was a copy of MLB Slugfest, but the two games inside of it were Smuggler's Run and the Hulk. It's kind of random there. But yeah, it's one of those where when they're selling it so cheap, I can't help but buy it because I think, well, if it's about a dollar game, then there's bound to be something worth it in there. I bought one recently, very similar, where it was like 17 games for $15 or something like that, where it was just below a dollar game, and that one at least had some PS3 games that I was able to add to the collection that I didn't have. It's always interesting when you go out and you find these super cheap games. So, um, if you are watching, let me know in the comments what you think. If it's worth it to buy these cheap games, or if you just pass them up, even for trading and stuff like that. Okay, so the pickups here was from the second day. At the end of May, I went out again. Just hit up a few garage sales. The first pickup was from a garage sale where they had sold mostly everything, but I went and it was $2 for red Nintendo 64 controllers. Sticks actually pretty good on that. And then a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Game Gear. So I'm not collecting Game Gear, but something like that, a dollar, of course I'll pick it up. So the next six were actually from a flea market that I went to, that I go to all the time, and there's a new person there with some NES games, so did a little deal. Actually, I had picked out more than six, but I ran out of money. I thought I had more than I did, and so I had to put some back. But I did 18 for these six, so three apiece. First one was Elevator Action. Very cool, Taito game. The next one, Section Z. Cool cover on that. And they're all in good condition. Like, you don't see any real problems on the labels, so I'm pretty impressed by that. A little dirty, I guess. The spine part usually always has some dirt on it. Joust. Yeah, I think I used to have a copy of that and sold it. But these ones came in the nice little case. Interesting one here that I'd never heard of. Taboo, The Sixth Sense, Trade West. Very interesting. It's always fun to see some of these weirder titles that, it's like, I've never heard of that. And a nice copy of Wizards and Warriors. Of course, I got to clean these up and get some of the marker off them, but yeah, three apiece. That's what I'm looking for. This time I've got a lot of good NES games. I think I bought like 22 total. A few I already had, but that I got with that bundle, that last bundle. Got some boxes for NES, so that collection is growing pretty quickly. I think I'm getting close to 100. I'm probably at like 80 at this point. So that's pretty good for, a collection that I started with 4 or 5 when I started out. 4 or 5 that I kept, like Zelda and Mario. Of course, I always kept, but Final Fantasy. But nice to keep adding to that. So I'm really happy about that.